everybody. Welcome back once again to the RetroGameFix.com Retro Jones podcast number 110.
110, Mitch. I jumped in early. 100. That's how excited I am about these. That's how excited I am about these.
I had deja vu when I was saying that intro today for some reason.
Oh. Yeah, 110. It's funny. I was actually just saying this before we started last time, which was only about 35 seconds ago, that every time we do a podcast now, I'm always surprised that we're actually still doing podcasts.
Yeah, I can't believe it, man. And I was saying previously, that I thought we'd make it through like 20 or something. I didn't know this would be like a thing, you know?
Yeah, it's a thing for you, ding ding.
I like it.
We're in one of those moments where everything's going to be funny between the two of us.
Probably.
Real quick, I don't know if we will get to this in this episode, but we could save it for like the end. I did tweet out a question of the week.
You did?
About farts.
And I asked,
because I was in my car today and I dropped some ass. And I was like, ooh. And then,
what did you eat? Taco Bell or something?
Yeah, I don't even know why. And I was like, has anybody ever farted and smoked themselves out of their own room or gagged? I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah.
And I
don't think it is possible.
Well, someone was pretty like, yeah, it's definitely possible. And I'm like, I'm not sure if that's actually the case. So we can touch on it later for those that don't want to listen to us talk about flatulence. But I was curious because
this sounds like an end of the show topic.
It is an end of the show topic. Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up at the beginning of the show, so as we get to the end of the show, people know when to stop listening.
Yeah, classy people will stop listening at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what's been going on this week?
Zelda's consumed me, but before I get to that, we're 110 episodes in, and we always forget the contact information.
All right.
It's 678-995-5103. 678-995-5103. That's the voicemail. I love it when I go into this thing. I always feel like I'm like a used car salesman.
You sound like one.
No offense to used car salesmen, by the way.
Everybody's got it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say there.
Otherwise, twitter.com, facebook.com, youtube.com/RetroGameFix. Otherwise, questions at RetroGameFix.com is how you can get a hold of us. So anyway,
okay,
Zelda.
That's it?
Yeah, that's how you get a hold of us. Zelda.
So tell me about Zelda.
Zelda, here's the thing. So I'm not going to go. So the conversation here is not going to be spoilery. But again, the game it literally can't because I'm not going to because I won't spoil anything for you.
Yeah, because I will, I'll be there at some point, so I don't want any spoilers either. So I'm with the listeners at this point that don't have Switches.
Yeah, Switches get stitches. Here's the thing about Zelda. So I put a ton of time in yesterday. Well, as much as I could. I literally played about 7 hours yesterday.
Those are the good old days,
And
man.
yeah, man, I actually had Carrie was home. Violet was being a normal
just
baby.
In a good mood.
Yeah, everything was all good in the Mike household. And so I got to play a ton of Zelda. And afterwards, and so I want to pivot here first. After playing Zelda, we went out and ran some errands.
Yeah.
Later in the afternoon, and everything that I saw and everything that I was talking about was related to Zelda. I couldn't get away from it. I saw those towers that do the emergency horns and shit.
Yeah.
And those reminded me of climbable towers in Zelda. And everything was Zelda. And it was crazy. Have you ever had that where you walk away from a game and all of a sudden it's I'm in the real world, but I'm like, this isn't the real world. I'm in Hyrule right now.
Dude, that happens to me constantly. That's why I'm and I think that probably most gamers can relate to that. And I think this is a great topic too. Because it's one of those things, man. Look, I have an addictive personality. So do you. I mean, it's just anybody that's listened to this podcast at this point knows that is a damn fact. But when I get into something, I get into something. And I'm into stuff right now that we'll talk about later. But yeah, when I really get into a game, and that's what's going to happen when I get Zelda 2, I'll be gaming like every second that I possibly can. Breaks at work or during work and all that stuff. But yeah, I lose touch with reality kind of at some point. I mean, it consumes me, you know, and when I'm going to sleep, I don't know about this too. I'll take it a step further, but like, I think we had mentioned this before too, but like when we used to game all day, all weekend, I mean, it
was crazy.
I would not be able to shut that off in my brain like when I went to sleep. You know what I mean? Like where you're almost like, that's how I would imagine it would be like to be completely insane, where you just have this like loop. Like it happens to me sometimes where I'll just get this loop of like the video game happening over and over and over and over and over again in my brain. Do you ever have that?
Well, yeah, I've had it for like the last day and a half. It's been like terrifying for me because, again, and I said this before, I was like, Zelda's the first game in a long time that when I'm not playing it, all I'm doing is thinking about playing it, but it's more invasive than that in the fact that I feel like I'm Link. I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like I leave and I'm just like, all right, I'm running to the store to get some soda as Link.
You're like platforming on the way there or something?
Yeah, everything I see is like...
You want to climb it?
I could climb that. Oh, wait, it started snowing a little bit. I would maybe slip off of that if I tried to climb it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you get that at night, though? Like when you try to go to sleep where it just kind of... Where you get like a loop or something like that? It's almost like... God, it feels like diseased when that happens to my... You know, like my brain is just caught in a loop of the game or something. Do you ever have that, or is that just... I
don't have a loop of like any particular moment in the game, but I do have... like last night, I made it to a checkpoint and I went to bed, and all I could think about... Well, I made it to multiple checkpoints, and all I could think about is... Oh crap, I should probably get back up because I just realized I passed this, or I could go get that, or I could try to do this, or like that kind of stuff is what keeps me up. Is like, oh, I didn't solve this right, or oh, I forgot I met this person. And then like that shit starts to go on in my head, and I'm like, okay, I can't sleep until I get up and go try at least something.
Well, for me, it's different. Like I've had that too, but like, and I just think about this too, because I had the flu for like probably the first time in my entire life, like a couple months ago. And the first night I had this like fever, and I don't know if this term means anything to anybody else, but it was like a fever dream, you know, where I was not completely asleep, but I wasn't awake either. And I just had these crazy thoughts that I didn't make any sense, like going through my head, or maybe they made sense, but they were like repetitive. I don't even remember what this particular one was like, but that's what it's like for me with video games. It's almost like I have this like brain fever or some shit when I go to bed sometimes when I've been like gaming all day. And it's just like moments from the game will like repeat. I don't know. I probably sound super crazy and
no,
sick
I mean,
right now.
I've had that happen, but like, I guess I can't remember it happening recently with games.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's like a moment at work or something like that, where a small moment of a meeting keeps repeating in my head.
Sure.
You know,
okay, so we're on the same page. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. No, that hasn't happened to me. No, you don't sound like, well, I mean, you sound crazy.
Yeah, it sounds crazy.
But but I've totally had that happen. I have not had that happen recently with a game. But it's one of those things, man, where certain games just get you so immersed in the environment that I don't even, like, I'm going to sound like a crazy person, but like it almost kind of becomes you in a way that's just like hard to disconnect that aspect of it, right? Where it's just like, oh my God, I cannot, like, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, Zelda's the first game that's done it to me in so long, where it's just constantly on my mind.
I think pretty much any gamer that's taking enough time to listen to our podcast knows exactly what we're talking about on all fronts. I'm pretty sure.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, Sam, I guess I try to kind of like, I guess I did a lot of gaming on the 3DS, so that's probably where the last instance of what you're talking about happened to me. But I guess memorable, when I was playing the last Grand Theft Auto through story mode and just playing it nonstop. When I get in my car, I would find myself wanting to like just smash into somebody else's car, just hit the gas and go like 90 down the road and just smash into something or roll out of the car or something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty much what's going on in your brain right now.
Yeah, I feel you. That's exactly it. So it's crazy. But anyway, so to the bigger conversation, I guess, is Zelda is still really good. And it's still a thing. I mean,
let me ask you this, because you had mentioned sometime at some point in this week, and or maybe I'm thinking of Resident Evil, I guess, where you'd gotten to a point where you're like, is it as awesome as I thought it was?
Well, that kind of happened. That kind of happened with Zelda too.
Okay, all right.
So I think there's a combination there, but yeah, that was Resident Evil, but that did happen to me with Zelda too. Where I did hit a point in the game where, and not everybody's going to hit the point, because the game is open world and everybody's experience is different. But I did hit a point where I went, okay, I've done a lot in this game, and I'm not quite sure. Like, is this it? Is this the game? Where I started to actually almost feel like, where is the Zelda in this game? There was a point for a couple hours where I was like, I'm not sure. Okay. They took such a hard turn away from traditional Zelda that I was like...
They blew it up so much that it's hard to...
Yeah, exactly. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm really enjoying this game, but am I really... Is it Zelda? And then... a few sequences of events happened that I won't mention, because again, I think the great thing about this game is everybody will have a different experience because there's so much to do. And then a sequence of events happened for me that I was like, okay, there's the Zelda that I know and love. And then here's the rest of the game, and man, it just all clicked. It just all clicked. I think it felt so different at times for me that once I got into it, I was going like, okay, did they take too much of a hard turn on this one and go away from what I really love about Zelda? And the answer is no, they didn't. They did it perfectly.
Well, and that's great, because when you had told me that originally, what I thought of was there were a couple franchises, and I can't quite think of which franchises that 64 kind of ruined on that. I feel like there were a couple franchises, like everybody used that 3D engine that was on 64.
Yeah,
like
I mean, Banjo-Kazooie.
Every game was on. No, but there were some.
That's a great game, but yeah.
There were a couple of classic franchises that I felt like were just flops because they really tried to reinvent the wheel. And I can't think. I'll have to look them up as we go here. I'm not going to waste our time on here, but go ahead. That's what that reminds me of.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. It turned out that I was just in this adjustment period of going like, okay, this is the new Zelda. Here's what I'm supposed to do. Here's where I can go. Here's what I can do. And once it all clicked, I think this maybe sounds like hyperbole, and I've read a lot of people saying, how is this thing getting 10 out of 10s? And look, I enjoyed Uncharted 4, but I didn't think Uncharted 4 deserved all the 10s that it got, but it resonated with me differently. Now, dependent on some of the mechanics that are in the game, I can certainly see that not everybody thinks this game is a 10. But for me, again, this isn't hyperbole. It might be, I'm about 12 hours in now. Mm-hmm. And with that, I think this is, I can't say what I feel about the game yet because I haven't even finished, but I can say that this is my favorite 12 hours ever spent with a video game that I can remember ever.
Okay. All right. That's a bold statement, my friend.
It's a very bold statement. It does so many things. There are some things that piss me off, like they have some motion control puzzles in it and some other bullshit that I'm like, why is this in here? But it does so many things where other games have done them before, from combat and from inventory and from open world and from, quest management, all these basic things. And Nintendo got some things wrong with the basic things in this game as well. But the things that it Nintendoized, I guess, to coin a term, really changed. They just make such a slight difference. I'll give you an example.
Okay. Because I don't follow you yet.
Yeah. I apologize because I'm trying to be as vague as I can while still trying to make a point, and it's difficult. So let me give you an example that's not spoilery. The map, right? Mm-hmm. So there's been so many times where I'm like, oh, fuck, I discovered this and I discovered that. And I was like, I got to remember that. And I didn't really pay much attention to my map for the first few hours. And then getting into the map, I was like, oh my God, they've given me like a set of 20 stamps that I can just put wherever the hell I want. So if I land on an area that I think is valuable, that I don't have, that I can't complete yet, I'll put like a treasure stamp on it. Or if there's a spot where maybe it's an area that I just want to come back to later, I'll put a star stamp on it. And just little things like that, where it's like...
Do they have like a mushroom stamp by chance?
But yeah, I mean, and like, no, they're not the first game to allow you to mark points on a map, but they're the first game I can remember that give me a inventory of like 20 stamps that can mean different things, and you just kind of choose what those things are and stamp them on the map.
You customize it in your own way.
You can kind of customize it in your own way, right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to put this pin on here. You pin it and stamp it in a way that makes sense. I mean, hell, what's another example I can give? I can't give a lot of examples without being too spoilery, and I don't want to do that yet, but it's the little touches, it's the little things that really make the game stand out. I mean, something like when Link is out in the cold, right? His face is constantly kind of shivering. And you're like, oh my God, he's actually cold, right? It's little stuff like that where, yes, you see stuff like that in other games, but this game just does every little touch in a way that really adds to the experience in a way that I have not ever seen before. And again, I apologize for being vague, but we'll be able to talk about more of it once you see it, and I think it'll make more sense. I think a lot of people that have played the game at this point are going to be able to relate and know exactly what I'm talking about, but and hopefully everybody's like, oh fuck, I saw this and I saw that, and it's the little things that go a long way in this game.
No, I mean, I think that's a pretty good example. Like, it sounds like a pretty good example, and it's also great that you're not being spoilerish and you're not giving too much information. But I think I get the point. I think I get, I think I can approximate what you're talking about. There's so many little detail. It's so detailed. It sounds like that. That it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because I think of it, it's weird because there's this like NextGen conversation that pops up as far as like, well, what's NextGen? And a lot of times NextGen, I think back to when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were announced, and the game developers kept saying, the power of these consoles is going to let us do things we weren't able to do before. And what that really ended up meaning was, we're going to give you better graphics.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it meant.
And what other people, the way they kind of sold it was, we're going to be able to do better artificial intelligence, we're going to be able to do this, we're going to be able to do that, we're going to be able to make more worlds more immersive. And none of that really happened. It just ended up being better graphics.
Mm-hmm.
What Zelda is doing for me is next gen in a way that makes good on the, we are creating a game with elements, functionality, reactions of AI, the scope of the game, the interaction that you have with all of the elements in the game. It's doing things to a scope that I have not seen in any other game so far this generation. It may not look as good. The hardware may not be as powerful. It may have frame rate problems, but it is more next gen than any other game I have seen outside of visual fidelity.
But it's hard to say that game is next gen when you also have it on your Wii U, right?
It is on the Wii U, yes.
Okay.
Right. And I think that's what's even... I guess you can look at that one of two ways. I mean, you can say that's even more impressive. Yeah, it is. I guess I never thought of that. Yes, it is also on the Wii U, which maybe, I don't know if that's a detriment to the lack of innovation as far as games are in 2017, or if that's a kudo to Nintendo for thinking outside of the box.
But I think you're right, though. I think you're right about a lot of things in this kind of, you know, we'll keep on topic here, but just a little side quest here. Like, you know, you can't say what's next gen about the Switch. The Switch is next. What's next gen about the Switch? It's not, at this day and age, it's not really necessarily about the power and the graphics. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know? It's just that it seems innovative in a way that is just not like, hey, we're going to have better graphics or something, you know? Like, the whole Switch, the whole system in itself is next gen, you know?
Right. And I don't want to get on my PC high horse, but it's, and this next comment's not intended to do that, but at the end of the day, next gen is always 3 years ahead of consoles if you are willing to spend the money on PC.
It's true, though.
And value prop, totally get it, but like at the end of the day, if you're gauging next gen based on graphics, next gen is already here. Right? And your next gen console existed on PC 3 years ago. So that's why I'm even more impressed with what Nintendo has been able to do with the Switch. And I don't mean
it's just right up my alley, like as far as exactly what it is. Me of all play, like how I game nowadays, it's like right up my alley. That's why I'm excited about it, and that's why I'm not gonna like wait too long for this particular system.
Yeah, and I don't want to pat myself on the back here. And, well, I think we both can pat ourselves on the back. There was a lot of shit throwing around this Switch when people found out what it was. And I think us two, maybe more so, and I certainly had my criticisms about Nintendo's business dealings, but, like, I remember saying at one point, like, I don't know if it's going to be successful, but I think this is the only move that you can make, Nintendo can make, and logically should make. And you were like, I definitely think it's going to be successful.
And it has been successful so far. So far,
it has been successful. Now, who knows what it's going to turn out to be, but everybody that I know, for the most part, that bought the Switch loves it. And, I mean, Zelda hit a home run. You know what? And to be honest, I mean, I'll just run down the games that I have now. So, Zelda obviously hits a home run. The other game I brought home was 1-2 Switch. I've got to clear the air on something. The HD controllers or the HD Rumble is actually a thing.
Really?
Carrie and I. So my mom stopped over today to see Violet, and I was like, hey, check out this new thing, the Switch. She saw some commercials. She's like, oh yeah, I saw some commercials about that. I know exactly what it is. And I was like, well, that's crazy in and of itself, right? Like,
yeah, everybody knows what it is.
Like, my mom was like, yeah, that's awesome. And I pulled it off the TV. She's like, oh, yeah, that's really cool. I saw that. And I'm like, okay, that's bananas that my mom actually even knows what the hell this thing is. So I was like, okay. So I kind of just plugged it back in. And then we turned on 1-2 Switch and we played a few games. And then I turned on this game, I don't know, called like Rubber Balls or something like that. And and you shake the Joy-Cons and you can roll them and you try to figure out how many balls are in basically a box that's on the TV. And if you turn the box to the point that these rubber balls will like roll down the box, I mean, you can feel it go back and forth. So HD rumble is actually a thing. And in that,
so it's not just the shaking as far as like how many dice are in the thing. It doesn't just shake that many times.
Yeah. It's legit. It's real legit.
Okay.
It's actually really, really, really cool. And so we didn't play a lot of it after the last time we played it. It was the first time we tried this game. I was like, okay, this is actually really neat and a super fun. I mean, it is a gimmick, but it's super fun. And so yeah,
that's an about face on that one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so we played that for like another 30 minutes or an hour. Then I picked up Bomberman R, which is actually really good. Value. I'm not sure. Yeah, like $50. It's an arcade game. It was worth it to me, but I also had a $20 gift card to Walmart. But it's I've had a lot of fun with Bomberman.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot to say. What were you gonna say about Bomberman?
I was gonna say that was one of them I was thinking of on the 64 that I thought was really pure garbage.
Oh.
That they really, relating back to like our conversation 20 minutes ago.
Gotcha. So yeah, Bomberman is I've had a ton of fun with it. And again, these aren't AAA game releases, but at the end of the day, and we've talked about this before, like I only have so much time, so like every game doesn't need to be a 70-hour experience.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of nice. And then I picked up Blaster Master Zero, which is a $10. It's a remake of the Blaster Master on NES. I only got to play that for a little bit, but it does not support the Pro Controller, but it supports the Joy-Cons, obviously. And I think this might be because it uses the HD Rumble. And right out of the gate, it does a thing where like the Blaster Master vehicle is like revving up and shooting like exhaust out. And you can feel like the exhaust coming through the HD Rumble controllers in a way that isn't it just shaking.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means, to be honest.
It's like you can feel like when it revs and there's an exhaust, it feels like air kind of going through your hand. It starts at the top and then rumbles down through the bottom. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's fucking cool.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, it's super cool. You'll have to try it. And then I picked up the complete Shovel Knight collection again because I now own it on Vita, on Wii U, and then now on the Switch. And I don't know if you've checked out Shovel Knight, but you got to check it out. It's it harkens back to it's kind of, I mean, I got to be honest, it's almost a little bit Wonder Boy mixed with Castlevania.
It's like a button masher.
No,
really.
no. Shovel Knight's not a button masher.
Okay, I guess I thought I had it, and I thought I'd played it.
No, Shovel Knight's like a side-scrolling platformer.
I guess I haven't played it then. I'm trying to figure out what I've thought of, or what I'm thinking of. Something very similar, though.
Yeah, so and then I have Fast Arm X, which is the Wipeout F-Zero thing, which is awesome. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And then Nintendo just opened up, basically, they started selling Neo Geo games that were only available in the Japan store.
Okay.
And so there's Neo Geo games on the eShop for $8 a piece. You know, it's stuff though, I think. And
there's some good stuff on the Neo Geo, but there's a lot of crap fighting games.
Certainly, but it's nice.
I'm going to get beat up for saying that, by the way.
But it's nice to have options. And yes, the launch lineup was thin. Yes, there's question marks about some of the hardware. The I have not had. Fortunately, I haven't had a lot of the problems people have had. There is a lot of problems with Wi-Fi and Joy-Cons disconnecting and a whole bunch of stuff. I have not had those problems, and hopefully Nintendo finds a way to resolve those problems for the people having them. But for the most part, I feel like this has been a really successful launch for Nintendo, and I'm enjoying this thing. God, more than I didn't enjoy my PS4 this much, my Xbox One this much, and it's because it's something new and different. And you know, with the PlayStation 4, you kind of bought it and you plugged it in, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is the same games I've already played with better graphics. where the Switch actually brings a lot of new functionality to the table that I really appreciate. So,
although technically somebody's going to say, yeah, but they're re-releasing all the same games for the Wii U as well. So
good. Yeah, good. You know what? Good, because no one bought the Wii U. So lucky for everybody that buys a Switch, you're going to get a shitload of fun games to play.
Speaking of which, the Mario Kart 8 re-release on it, I really want to Switch. The more I see about it,
end of April. You got to get one by the end of April, because that's going to be the game that we play the shit out of together online.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
it sounds awesome. It really does sound awesome. I don't think you're exaggerating. It's funny, like you said too, like with the comment with your mom and stuff like that. Everybody knows what a Nintendo Switch is. Nintendo did it right this time as far as marketing and just getting out there, and everybody, like I said last week too, it's like a lot of people who I wouldn't expect to even know what that was, like totally know what it is. The word is out, which is awesome, which is amazing, because if you think back to when we first heard about this and when we were talking about, is a mid-generation console release a good idea, blah blah blah, yeah, it looks like it's really catching on. Look, I know there's a lot of people that are excited about the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One and stuff, and that's awesome. But like, I feel like there's more of a universal appeal here. I don't know. I might just be making that up, but
no, I think you're right. The thing that I enjoy about it is the fact that it made good on what it said it was going to do. And I know that there's probably people listening saying, Mike, you are ignoring a whole bunch of shortcomings with the system, and there's a lot of problems. I know that. There are some problems with it. And maybe it is the Nintendo fanboy in me. I just don't want to go there right now, because I feel like all of the problems that it does have some problems. I just feel like that they're not, for me, they haven't been significant. And I guess for those having the issues with the connectivity and wireless and stuff, it probably is. But I just, overall, I think it's just a great package. It's not cheap. There are a lot of costs. I mean, you add a Pro controller, you add a game, you add an SD card, you add a case. I mean, you're pushing $400+ for it, which isn't cheap, but I think it's a great product. So,
yep. And I guess we'll see. I might be jumping the gun on that. I'm just saying stuff for the most part. So, but yeah, that's awesome, dude. I'm excited every time. The more you talk about it too, you've probably sold a few Switches out there. Let's put it that way.
I've actually had people tweet at us saying like, I wasn't actually that excited for the Switch, and now I am. I'm like, all right, good. Go buy one. Support it.
I can relate to that, because I wasn't terrible. I wasn't as excited as you were about the Switch, and now I am very excited about it.
It's everything I've wanted out of a console, and
it's everything I want out of a console too. That's the thing. I get that, and I acknowledge that. It's
amazing. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. I don't know what else to say about it. Again, it's not without its faults, but
I've seen, and I've read all the problems and stuff that people are having, and it's legit. It is, but I also think,
you know what else is legit?
What?
Being able to just play Zelda, grab my Switch off of it, go to bed, play some Zelda, wake up, have Zelda right there, get up, go put it on my TV, bring it to work.
Play Zelda in your fever dreams?
Yeah, play Zelda in my fever dreams, man. It's so good. It's just so good. I don't know what else to say about it other than what we've already said. I can't wait. The thing is, I can't wait till you get your hands on Zelda, because like much, in a little bit of a segue here, but much like your pinballs, like I know how you go into a Zelda game. Yeah. And I think this Zelda, like I can usually do one or two games simultaneously. This is not one of those times. And when you go into a game, like you're going to fucking go in, and I cannot wait to have the deep conversations about the shit, because I know you're going to fucking find things that I didn't even have a clue were even there.
I could probably like preview the conversation from whenever that is too. They're probably going to be like this.
It'll be like that time you ruined Walking Dead for me when you kept mentioning Rick and his hat.
Yeah, how stupid that hat was.
Oh, that fucking hat.
I think Walking Dead ruined themselves. I didn't have anything to do with that.
No, Walking Dead did ruin themselves. So anyway, but speaking of that, how's that pinball coming, man?
Holy crap, dude. When I said this is the most tedious thing I've ever done in my life, like, I meant it. Like, this is for anybody out there that might not know what I'm talking about. I bought a Williams taxi for a pretty good price, like a month ago at this point. And I had to drive all over Georgia to get this thing. And I'm excited about it because I really like the game and I really wanted to own one. And again, it was the right price, but as I strip the playfield down and everything like that, I'm like, this thing has problems. I either have to restore this playfield or I don't have a playfield for taxi. So I've never restored a playfield before. It's been something I've always wanted to do. You saw the pictures last week when I did the, I'm pretty much done with the top half for the most part. And we had those up on Twitter. And there's a big difference, a huge difference in that. So now I'm working on the bottom. And since last week, I've exclusively pretty much been working on the bottom of the playfield. And I probably put in about 3 hours a day, at least, for the last week since I talked to you last on our last episode. And if you looked at a before and an after picture on the bottom part, you probably wouldn't even notice that I did anything.
Really?
So, yeah, well, but you would have to look. I mean, you'd have to really look. It's all detail work and all this stuff. I mean, pretty much I'm coming up on the big stuff here. Like, it's not going to take me long when I get to that point to do the gray for the roads, and the white is easy. But all the little cars and all that stuff, like there's a cop car on the bottom. I had to redo all the, I just was doing one color at a time. I do the yellows, and I could totally tell. I'm like, that's way nicer. And if I pointed them out to you, you'd be able to tell. But dude, I put on so many hours, and I feel like it's just like thankless at this point. But this thing is going to be freaking awesome by the time I get done. And I thought about this too. The thing I like about this, the best part about this, and what do you and I both do like very, very, very well when it comes to obsessions with things? Any guesses?
Overdo it?
One aspect of it, spend a lot of money, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The good thing about this is I'm restoring this playfield and I'm not spending any money, which is great. I'm spending a lot of time and I love it. I'm having a blast, dude. It seems like I'm complaining about it and stuff like that, but dude, I love it. This is like my me time, and I really, the only time I have to do it is when my kid and my wife are asleep already. So I stay up for another couple hours and just work on it. But it's like my happy place, man. It's like I love doing it. But I thought about this too because the side art for that thing would set me back about $250. And I'm like, you know what? I could probably, since they were screen printed in the first place directly onto the cabinet and they weren't decaled originally, I could just use my airbrush now and just redo the artwork on them and it would look perfect. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to look, I'm going to have to spend a lot of money elsewhere on this thing. But, graphics and all that stuff, I got this. I totally got this. And I'm really excited about it. Eventually, it's probably going to take me another 2 weeks to get this thing like close to done. So it'll probably take me about a month working on this playfield. But I mean, and it's fun, and it's going to look fucking amazing by the time I get done. So I'm excited. I've picked up a lot of new skills on this thing. Plus, I was telling you too, my dad had come into town. My dad and his wife had come into town this week, right? So they had come in on Thursday, and my dad, like, back in the 70s, him and a buddy used to go play pinball all the time. And I can't get him to tell me what any of the pinballs he played because he can't tell me what they were. And I'm like, can you describe anything about them? And he's like, oh, there's some people on it. And I was like, can you be any more vague?
He's like, we were at the roller skating rink, Mitch. I was too busy doing 360s and turns and dancing with all the...
Probably. Who knows? So anyway, he loves pinball, and it was fun. because I never get to play pinball with anybody. It was fun. He had come down there. He really, really, really liked Funhouse. That's the one he spent the most time on, I think. And at the end, it was funny though, because Bride of Pinbot, I'm like obsessed with playing that one right now. And I was like, Dad, why haven't you checked this one out? And he's like, well, you've been playing it the entire time. So I'm like, okay, you got to play this. So he played it, and then he played it again, and then he played it again, and then he played it again. And dude put up 2 high scores on my thing. Now I'm going to have to like wipe everything. Now I'm going to have to wipe everything out, reset the thing so his high scores aren't on my machine. But no, I'm just kidding. But man, he was like, he was into it. He's like, man, I wish I would have played this earlier in the week. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's not just me about Bride of Pinbot is amazing. But yeah, it was cool, man. I got to play some pinball with my dad, and it was cool. It was real fun. So I hate to only talk about pinball like all the time here. That's why I kind of keep it short for the most part, short and sweet. Just kind of what I've been up to. But man, I'm excited about it. I'm having a blast here, and I really have. Because with the taxi, the one thing I'm worried about, I'm like, I know I can do patience, but I'm gonna want to play it at some point too. Mm-hmm. But I'm totally content with where I'm at with the taxi right now. Like I've got so much variety in pinballs right now. I don't need anything else. And so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I think what's probably gonna happen as it relates to the Switch is I'm gonna finish the playfield, and I'm going to finish the cabinet on this thing, and then I'm probably going to get a Switch, because then I'll have some free time to play some Zelda and shit,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really like, I don't know. I'm always laser focused on whatever it is I'm doing. So I kind of have to be cautious of that, and I don't want to derail myself on what I'm doing right now. I want to finish it first, and then I'll probably go get a Switch.
Yeah, if you have too many number one projects, you don't have any number one project, so.
That's the way it is. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And I literally, I'd send you some more pictures, but you wouldn't even notice anything. So there's nothing to show you right now. I have nothing to show for the, let's say I put 3 hours a night on it for the last 7 days. I have nothing to show for my 21 hours of work this week, right? So anyway, no, for real though, I don't.
No, that's funny. Yeah,
I do.
It'll all pay off in the end, though.
It will, and to be honest, part of me is just joking, like kind of, but part of me is not. I look at it and I'm like, I accomplished something, but I'm like, if I showed this to anybody else, they'd be like, you didn't do anything,
That's kind of how some of those projects go, though,
And my dad was like, oh, the part that you haven't even started on yet. And I was like, no, it's whatever. I'm not offended. I get it. I totally get it. But I'm very satisfied when I'm looking at this thing. It's going better than I thought it would, it'd be able to do. So anyway, so yeah. That's literally all I got. And I don't want to beat a dead horse by talking about it constantly, but just hopefully, not as quick of an update as I wanted to give, but that's all good.
Do you want to? Should we get to the? So I've got a few stories now. I've got a MicroCenter story. I've got a Walmart story.
Let's hear them.
All right. So MicroCenter. So anyway, I was going to get to this last week, and I got sidetracked with another story. I went to MicroCenter to pick up a Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
Another one because I wanted to get one so I could really get into the finishing up that main build this summer, mm-hmm. and also the essentially a 60-in-1, but I'm not going to use a 60-in-1 board because I'm going to use the Retro Pi and get my vertical games out of that. And so at work we actually have a business account with MicroCenter, and they often send me coupons, and this time I happened to get a coupon for $25 off of any purchase.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, all right.
Was there a minimum?
No. So if it was under $25, it was free.
No way.
No shit. So I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get another Raspberry Pi. So
for free.
So I see a Raspberry Pi on the site that's normally $80. It's a Power PC Raspberry Pi. But it has the case, it's got the card, all this shit in it.
Sure.
And I'm like, give me that. And so I go and pick it up, and everything looks fine. I get out to my car, and much like MicroCenter, I always open whatever I get from MicroCenter right away in the car. I open this thing up.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And it's scratched to shit. It's just it's scratched the hell out of it.
Oh.
So then I also realized that this particular Raspberry Pi had an 8 gig card with it. Didn't just have an 8 gig card with it. It had a built-in 8 gigabytes and a case that you couldn't take off. So it completely defeats the purpose of the flexibility of a Raspberry Pi. So I go back in and I wait in line for 1 billion hours because it's MicroCenter. And I'm like, hey, I got out to my car and this thing is scratched up. And the kid looks at it and he's like, oh yeah, that's messed up. Do you want another one? And I was like, no, I don't actually want another one because I noticed this. He's like, yeah, these don't have the replaceable thing. And I was like, so do I get my $25 back? And he's like, do you have any other shopping to do? And I was like, well, I'd like to just get another Raspberry Pi. And they didn't have any of the other basic Raspberry Pis in stock.
Oh, no.
And he couldn't refund my $25 coupon to me. And so I was like, can't you just put it on a gift card? And then he called the manager over, and by this time it was taking way too much time. And the manager comes over and is like, I can't just give you a $25 gift card because I have nothing to give it against. There's nothing else you want. And at this point, I'm actually just irritated because I'm sure I could have found...
Dude, just get $25 worth of candy. Shit.
I should have just taken something free, and I was so irritated by that point. I was just like, no. So I lost my free $25.
Oh my God, dude. What the fuck?
I don't understand. Like, you can't return my coupon? Like, you can't just issue me a new coupon or put something on a gift card? I was so pissed by that point, and I'm trying to be better at that because I can get lit up pretty easy.
If they can't do it, they can't do it, though. I would be like, What are those fucking Twizzlers or some shit? Give me $25 worth of Twizzlers or something.
Yeah, so that was... Well, it was just weird. It's like, you can discount something $25 for me, but you can't just give me a free gift card. Like, it was weird. So...
Dude.
So pissed about that. So, yeah.
You screwed yourself on that. Just get anything. Grab anything.
I was so irritated I didn't even want to be in the store. You know how I feel about MicroCenter.
Ugh. Man,
I didn't even want to be in the store anymore at that point. So
that makes me sad, dude. I would have been like, what is this, like canned air or something? Give me $25 worth of that. Anything, dude. Walk out of the store with anything free. You got like supermarket sweep with the 20 for like $25.
I know. So I didn't get anything. So that sucked.
You should have just grabbed a cart and just started throwing small shit in there so it looked like you were on supermarket sweep. So you have like 50 like little like 50-cent things or something like that. Just start throwing them in the cart and then just I don't know.
That'd have been funny. Yeah, I didn't do that, so that happened.
Damn, dude.
And then
I hope I never get anything from MicroCenter.
No,
they have my address.
Well, we have a business account with them, so I got it. I get this every now and then. So and then so I had 2 gift cards from work. I had a gift card to Best Buy, and I had a gift card to Walmart. And so Friday,
nice.
Excuse me. I'm thinking about like, okay, what should I do with my gift cards? And I'm trying to balance because I don't get the 20% GCU. Oh Jesus, I got a little burps coming up.
What
here.
did you eat, dude?
Yeah, I'm drinking like my first beer in a long time. I know I'm not a big beer guy, so when I drink one, it makes me burp a lot. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get Bomberman R from Walmart, and I'm gonna get this PlayStation 4 game from Best Buy. And so I go pick up my game from Best Buy. Transaction goes as smooth as transactions go at Best Buy.
Right, which is probably like 10% of out of 100.
Right. So then I go to Walmart. And here's the funny part. I want to get Bomberman R. The website says it's in stock. But I can't do store pickup. So I was like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm just going to put my gift card into the Walmart.com. I put my gift card into Walmart.com, and instead of getting Bomberman R, I'm like, I'm going to try to buy a Nintendo gift card with my gift card. Walmart doesn't let that happen. So that's all good. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to go to Walmart on my way home and pick up Bomberman R. So I get to the store, and I'm like, hey, I need that Bomberman R. The kid comes over, he gets the game out. Everything's all good. We get to the register, and he's like, okay, it's going to be $49. So I was like, aha, I got this gift card, player. And so I give him the gift card, and he scans the gift card. And then this message comes up that says this gift card's already activated.
No.
So I'm like, well, so then I'm thinking like, oh, well, I added it to my online account. But here's my balance. I pull up my balance. I'm showing him the balance of the card. And he's like, I don't know what's going on here. And he's like, maybe now that you activated it, you can only use it online. And I was like, so then I'm looking at him. I'm saying, I would use it online, but here's the thing. Your website will not let me order this for store pickup. It says I can pick it up next Thursday, but I see a copy right in front of me. So can I just take that copy? He's like, well, the website's kind of weird sometimes. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking, something's going on here. And he's like, let me go get a manager.
They probably got that website from Walmart.
Yeah, yeah, they ordered their website development from Walmart. He goes and finds a manager. This one manager walks by. He's like, I got to deal with something else. I'm like, are you fucking with me, right?
He's like, got to take a shit or something.
Yeah, he's got to go crap. So this guy, so this kid disappears for like 10 minutes. And I'm trying to keep my cool because you know how I can get. And I'm keeping my cool. He comes back with another manager. Now, this manager might be like 90. He has no fucking glue. So he comes back. Then the manager that had to go take a shit comes back. So now I've got the manager that had to take a shit.
What? Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So what? Let's just imagine that manager that said I have shit that had to go take a shit was like doing the fucking potty dance where he's like got his like stomach all pointed out and he's got his hands on his butthole. Like it's like slowly like slowly but quickly like making his way to the toilet.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
I do.
So,
which is why I just brought it up. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So then
I'm just painting a picture.
Yeah,
here. I'm the color man.
You are the color man. So anyway, the 90-year-old guy can't figure it out. The guy that just got done taking a shit didn't even really have any interest in figuring out. He just interjected, like, as they were trying to get my gift card to work. And was like, well, hit this button, hit that button. And the 90-year-old guy keeps grabbing these receipts that keep printing out. And then finally, the actual manager of the store comes over, and she's like, you know, a normal person. And she rings it up and grabs the gift card, and she's like, you need to hit payment. So all three of these motherfuckers kept scanning my gift card as if I was trying to buy a gift card. So that's why it kept saying it was activated already. And then they kept hitting a shit that's like, you need to hit reload the gift card. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? She's like, you just need to hit payment and then scan the gift card. And then the icing on the cake is the guy that was probably taking a shit goes, oh my God, there's so many steps. I don't know how I'm going to ever remember that. This is crazy. I was like, you're fucking kidding me.
Good Lord.
You got to be kidding me. And then, like, so yeah, it took 3 managers and a store employee to figure out how to tender a gift card on a purchase.
I had the exact, that's what, I'm like, something's ringing a bell here. I had the same shit happen at Harbor Freight the other day. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Harbor Freight. That's another. I love me some Harbor Freight, but Jesus Christ, buying anything. Yeah. Worst experience in the world.
Every time.
Every time. Going to Harbor Freight's terrible. But yeah, so anyway, that was my experience at Walmart.
Yeah, and if I told my Harbor Freight experience, I would just say replace every time you said Walmart
with Harbor Freight. Yeah.
It was the exact same scenario.
So yeah, that was my Walmart experience. But I did get Bomberman. But I was just like, why are you... It just is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got my game, so that was great. But anyway, yeah. So that was.
Those are good stories, though. I like it. You always have. God, you always have these stories, man.
Shit always happens to me. Every week, something ridiculous happens to me. It's probably because I'm always like buying something. Like I always find it could be even the smallest thing. It's like my eggnog story at McDonald's. I told someone at work that story. I'm not even going to tell it here, but I tried to get an eggnog shake at McDonald's, and the kid's like, I don't know why we don't got it. I just work here. And I'm like, that's exactly why you should know why you don't have it.
They always do that crap. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I just want like 2 apple pies or whatever. And he's like, we don't have apple pies. And I was like, okay, well, I have to rethink my order. He's like, the shake machine's down. Everything's down. And I was like, do you guys have anything right now? And I was just like, never mind. I was like, you just saved me from shortening my life anyways. Fuck you.
Everything's always down at McDonald's after
always.
Like 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock even. You can't get like, I don't even try to order any ice cream from the McDonald's by my place. Because if I go there, I know damn well they're going to be like, the shake machine's broken.
Yeah.
Like,
is it?
Like, like, yo, dog, the fucking sodas pour themselves now. You can't even make me a fucking shake?
You should nice, by the way. You should say you should be like, I was here an hour and a half ago and I got a shake.
What happened? Oh, I actually have a story about that.
Dude, you have so many McDonald's stories.
No, this ain't a McDonald's story. This is a Papa John story.
Okay.
You want to hear it quick?
Yeah, I do.
So we ordered Papa John's for carryout one night, and I went to get my order, and we ordered wings with it. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, we're out of wings." Wait, we're out of wings? We didn't get any wings. I'm like, "What do you mean you ain't got no wings?" And he's like, "We ain't got no wings." It's like, okay. I know they got wings. I know they forgot to put the order in, but he doesn't want to tell me they forgot to put the order in. So,
oh no.
So I take my order and I leave without my wings. Carrie calls, orders another pizza with wings. They take the order with wings and say it'll be ready in 15 minutes. Who walks in to pick up that order with wings? I do. And I walk in, and I'm pissed. I'm like, I thought you didn't have any wings. And he's like, the truck just came in, man. The truck just came in. And I lost my I lost my shit. They asked me to leave. They're like, you need to leave. And I was like, I knew you had wings. And I walked out.
Anybody that's ever interacted with you on Twitter knows this is totally true.
It's so immature. Anybody listening is like, this guy is off his fucking rocker.
Yeah, he is. And that's why you're listening to our show, right?
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. I walked in and I was like, great. I knew you had wings. I didn't end up getting the wings because they were like, I was pretty heated. So they were kind of like, they looked actually terrified. The minute they saw me walk back in the door for my order with wings, they knew exactly what just happened. They're like, oh shit. We just told this guy we didn't have wings, and now he ordered wings, and we're giving him wings. And he's like, the truck just showed up. I'm like, the truck didn't show up. I was sitting in the parking lot when I ordered the wings. God, I'm so petty sometimes, but I just hate shitty customer service.
No, yeah, I do too. I can't stand shitty customer service. One time at Waffle House, like not too long ago, where we just had the worst server. And, I was sitting with I decided like afterwards, 'cause it was terrible. She didn't do shit. And like, I needed a refill on water. I didn't get like my waffle. Like all this crap happened. This girl I saw her just like sitting behind the register, like scratching her butt or whatever. And I was like, screw her. So I'm like, I'll get the last laugh on my tip. So like, I was sitting with the baby and I was like, okay, I'll just stay here with him because he's sleeping. Why don't you go ahead and use my card to pay to my wife? And she goes up, and I figured she was going to come back with the thing so I could write the tip in and stuff. And I like look at the thing. I'm like, why is there a 40% tip on this thing? I was like, because we didn't really we didn't end up just Waffle House. Our bill was like $10, and there was like a $4 tip. I was like, why is there a $4 tip on this thing? Like I said it like out loud, and she was like, what? She's like, what? It's fine. And I was like, no, it's not fine. I was gonna leave $1. That was too much.
You're like, you're taking my legs out from under me.
And she's like, I'll give you $3. And I was like, I don't want your $3. I was like,
I want better service.
I was like, and we had this argument about this. It wasn't really an argument, but we had this discussion about it all the way home. It was like when somebody gives you shitty service and you give them a 40% tip, you're encouraging them to be shitty, and you're saying it is okay. And look, I understand servers and all this stuff. That's how you get paid and all that stuff. But do your fucking job if you want to get paid well.
No, I'm sorry. I'm with you.
I'm sorry. In that case, if you've been ignoring me the entire time, if I would have had the real sense to go up there and pay for it myself, that girl would have gotten a $1 tip, which is 10%, which is still way more than she deserved. So anyway, long story short on that one, like a week later, Jackie came back and was like, yeah, I totally took your advice and gave this lady like a 50-cent tip. And, shitty customer service. I can't stand it. And I don't even know why I even went on that tangent. But
no, it's just shitty customer service sucks, man.
It is. It's shitty, in fact. So anyway, I don't know, man. You got anything else today?
No, I'm good.
All right, well, let's go ahead and close this sucker out for RetroGameFix.com, the Retro Jones podcast, episode number 110. This is Mitch.
And this is Mike.
We'll see you next time.
Peace. See ya.